What's up guys, Everything Apple Pro here, and today Apple did release the latest version of iOS 8.2 Beta 4 for developers. So in this video, I wanted to do something I've been wanting to do for a while, compare Apple's newest firmware with the upcoming iOS 8.2 firmware. So in this video, I'm going to be comparing iOS 8.1.2 with 8.2, and I'm going to be comparing iOS 7.1.2 on the iPhone 4S to iOS 8.2 also on the iPhone 4S to see if Apple is gaining ground in terms of speed and getting it back to where it was in iOS 7. Alright, so the very first test I will be performing is a startup test. Now, these iPhones are currently shutting down. This one on the left is 8.1.2 and we have 8.2 Beta 4 right here. Now, let's go ahead and see how these stack up. Now, I just want to mention one thing. iOS 8.2 is actually a smaller file size than iOS 8.1.2, and that's a good thing. It could help with speed. Anyways, let's go ahead and see. So I'm going to power these guys on exactly at the same times, and these are iPhone 5S models. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, so let's go ahead and see how these stack up. And looks like iOS 8.2 booted up just a second faster than 8.1.2. But you know how that translates into actual speed, we'll have to see with a Geekbench. So that's our next test. Let's go ahead and make sure all the apps are cleared out. And just to confirm, 8.1.2 down here and 8.2 on this side. Anyways, let's go ahead and get rid of all these guys. And let's go ahead and run that Geekbench. All right, and 1, 2, 3. Okay, it looks like they did finish at the exact same time, and wow, I've never actually had this. The exact same score for both devices. So it looks like on the newer iPhone 5S, there is absolutely no difference in terms of performance, anything like that. But however, there is a big Wi-Fi issue on iOS 8.1.2, so let's go ahead and see if that was resolved and if there's any better download speeds on the newest firmware. Let's go ahead and start this test. Now I'm going to run these individually just to see if there's a difference. All right, looks like I got 17, almost 18 megabits and 12 upload. Let's go ahead and see how 8.2 fares. And that's really interesting. Looks like it's a little bit lower on 8.2. I'm not sure if that's because it's a beta or if that's how it's going to be or if it's just my device, but looks like download speeds are a little bit worse on 8.2. Upload is just a little bit better. Anyways, let's go ahead and launch some applications and see which one is snappier. So here's camera. All right, looks like they started up simultaneously at the exact same time. Let's see App Store. Looks like 8.1.2 was just a smidge faster. Settings. So looks like they're almost identical. All right, and here I have my iPhone 4S with 7.1.2, so otherwise known as the last best firmware for the device, and 8.2, the newest firmware right here. Now, interesting thing, like I did mention, is that 8.2 is actually going to be a smaller update than iOS 8. It's going to reduce the overall size, so that's great. Anyways, let's go ahead and see which one starts up first in a shutdown startup test. All right, now because the power button is disabled on one of them, I have to start it a little bit differently, but here we go. And looks like 7.1.2 is bootable a few seconds before 8.2, so there's going to be more of a difference between 7.1.2 and 8.2 for sure. Anyways, I want to go ahead and run a Geekbench to see how they compare on the actual numbers. And make sure nothing's open. And let's go ahead and run this. And results are in. So surprisingly, it's a lot better than the previous time I tested 7.1.2 versus 8.1.1. So looks like speed on older devices is a little bit improved on iOS 8.2. So that's great news. And I just want to go ahead and launch a couple applications to see if there's a difference there. Looks like 7.1.2 is still a little bit faster there. And yeah, as you can see, there's no comparison. 7.1.2 will still always be faster, but looks like 8.2 is, making that gap a little bit smaller. So that's great. Anyways, guys, so that's iOS 8.2 versus 7.1.2 and 8.1.2. Now, I wanted to show you the only difference I can see in iOS 8.2 so far is just in Bluetooth settings. So when you activate it, you now have this little notification that tells you if you want to connect it to an Apple Watch, you need to use a separate application. If you click on it, nothing happens. But looks like there's no compelling reason to update to 8.2 right now, unless, of course, you are going to be getting an Apple Watch later. You're going to want to update, but as it seems, there's nothing new. Other than this, I haven't seen anything. Performance is equal to 8.1.2, which is good. It's not worse. And actually, the one reason I can think of is that the actual overall file system size is a little bit smaller than 8.1.2. So it's the only thing that I can think of. Anyways, guys, so that's iOS 8.2 compared to other firmwares. As you guys could tell, not much has changed, but overall, with time, I hope Apple will add new things. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a great day. Peace.